Kalik rounded a rocky stone ridge and stumbled to a stop before the body of a dying thunderclast. The enormous stone beast lay on its side, rib-like protrusions from its chest broken and cracked. The monstrosity was vaguely skeletal in shape, with unnaturally long limbs that sprouted from granite shoulders. The eyes were deep red spots on the arrowhead face, as if created by a fire burning deep within the stone. They faded. Even after all these centuries, seeing a thunderclast up close made Kalik shiver. The beast's hand was as long as a man was tall. He'd been killed by hands like those before, and it hadn't been pleasant. Of course, dying rarely was. What if this whole video was just me reading the entire book to you? I would do it. Yeah, I would do it. Anyways, welcome to a reading vlog for The Way of Kings. This book here. Yeah. Not going to be a super exciting reading vlog because this is a reading vlog for me reading The Way of Kings, rereading The Way of Kings to get ready for Rhythm of War, the 4th book in the Stormlight Archive series. How many times have I said that sentence on this channel? Hello friends, editing Brianna here, just to throw in a clip to say that there will be spoilers in this reading vlog for The Way of Kings, just for The Way of Kings. I don't really talk about anything beyond that in this video, I don't think. And most of the spoilers are pretty vague because I tried to keep it spoiler free, but I do touch on a few things that are like sort of spoilery. So if you don't want any spoilers for The Way of Kings, even vague, subtle things, then don't watch this video. Come back when you've read it. And yeah, you've been warned. Spoilers, don't spoil yourself. It's a good book, you know? If you plan on reading it or you're reading it now and you're not finished yet, don't spoil yourself, okay? Take care of yourself. And yeah, that's all. Okay, bye. Page 164, the end of part 1. So now I'm on the interludes. A 1,000-page book, so you know, I'm 1/10 of the way there basically. So you didn't see the video I posted last week or whenever, I don't know when this video is going up. Anyways, the video I posted called my current reading plans. I talked about the Stormlight reread and how I'm going through, this is my 14th time reading this book, and I'm going through and I'm like highlighting things with these fancy crayon type highlighters that Casey recommended I get. And I've got like a bunch of different tabs and I'm tabbing for different things, and I'm just annotating in the book in general, writing notes and thoughts and things. 4 tabs so far. The yellow is for heralds, which is the prologue, or no, the prelude. The prelude is the one that's got the heralds. They don't really got a lot going on because it's the prelude, but I figured I would tab it anyways. The green ones are foreshadowing, and then the pink polka dot tab is, what is it? It's sleepless sightings. If you aren't like super deep into Cosmere wide knowledge, or even just like deep into world building knowledge, oh, I don't want to like spoil it. If you've read Edge Dancer, which is the novella that takes place between Words of Radiance and Oathbringer, yeah, that's right. So if you've read Edge Dancer, the novella, then you will know what the Sleepless is. You meet one of the Sleepless in that novella, like personally, and basically, I don't want to give away what it is if you don't know, but it's a thing, a group of things. It's hard to explain. Anyways, they're all over the place and they're watching, you know, they're trying to stay up to date on everything. And there's many times that they appear on page that most people haven't noticed because it's such a small, subtle thing. And obviously looking back, it's easier to pick up on those things because at the time we didn't know that they were a thing. So now that I'm on my 14th reread, I'm going through and I'm tabbing for just any time I think I see one, or any of the times that it's one that Brandon Sanderson's confirmed is a sighting of the Sleepless. Anyways, then I'm tabbing for World Hopper sightings. This does not include Hoyd. You know about Hoyd. Hoyd is a character who has a cameo in literally every single Cosmere novel from Sanderson. He doesn't always go by Hoyd, but in most of them he does. You usually know it's him, even if it's like a small cameo. I think actually in Well of Ascension, I think it's in Well of Ascension, you don't technically see him on page, but like he's there. Anyways, he's just everywhere in the Cosmere doing stuff, so if you don't know about Void, you know. And anyways, he has a much bigger role in the Stormlight Archive. He goes by the character Wit. And so I'm not counting him in my World Hopper sightings because he's like actively kind of present throughout this series and in a bigger way than he is in the other books. But I am tabbing specifically for like Hoid's nonsense within Stormlight. Like the different times when he's like telling stories that just are very meaningful and impactful, or when he's just kind of says something that's like, wow, that was out of left field, and that's like wide Cosmere reference that like people don't understand. Like, yeah, I fucking love Void. Anyways, I'm having for things like that, just like big Hoid moments, but not every sighting of him because he's like present. There's a lot of world hoppers on Roshar, most of whom we know, but there are some we don't, so I'm gonna keep an eye out and see if I can try to maybe pick out some random background characters who I think might be world hoppers. One thing that we know is that somewhere on Roshar there is a Kandra world hopper. So like, how the fuck are we ever gonna know who that is, right? If you don't know what a Kandra is, you have to read Mistborn. I'm not gonna get into it, but anyways. Tabbing for all these different things. I'm tabbing for stuff related to the Radiance, maybe just like when we get big information about the Radiant Orders and stuff. And I'm tabbing for just the big what the fuck moments. I'm just not going to give you an example because those are spoilers, but you know the ones. You know, the ones where it's like you get 5 of them in the last like 10 pages of the book, and it's like, by the way, this. Oh, and also, by the way, this too. And you're just like, Sandra, chill. So I'm going to tab for those moments, and I'm tabbing for foreshadowing. I'm tabbing for things that obviously we've already seen come to fruition that are foreshadowing, just so I can have them tabbed for reference. And then I'm obviously tabbing for things that I think are foreshadowing that have not come to fruition yet. I'm trying to get myself in the habit of tabbing things that I already like know the answers for, because it's kind of hard to like go through reading this book for the 14th time and be like, oh, I should tab and annotate this even though I already know what it leads to. Like, it feels silly to do, but I'm gonna want that just to be able to reference back to. And it's getting me in the habit of doing it so that way when I read Rhythm of War, I'll be able to tab my way through in a more like accurate way, I think. So that's my plans right now, tabbing for just odium nonsense. And then I've got some extra tabs, so if I come up with more things that I want to tab, I have some extra colors that I haven't used yet. And then I'm obviously doing highlighting. So anyways, that's the whole gist of what I've got going on so far with the reread. I'm just now at the first interludes. I love the interludes. Oh, I get to tab for a World Hopper sighting in the first one. I'm excited. Technically 3 World Hoppers, but we'll only tab it once. It's fine. This is me rereading the Stormlight Archive. I think I'm going to do a reading vlog. If this turns out, I'm going to do a reading vlog for each book. He was going to reread with me, right? But I'm going to try to just read Oathbringer, which is fine. I think after we both finish our Oathbringer reread, we plan to do a Stormlight 4 predictions video, which is going to suck because parts of Stormlight 4 will already be out. Because if you saw my video on my current reading plans when I talked about the Stormlight reread, I literally said in that video that I wanted to get through all 3 of these books before Tor started releasing the preview chapters. And the day that I posted that video, 5 hours later, they released the prologue and chapter 1. Those bitches. So now we're like out of time. So that's why Casey's just gonna jump straight ahead into rereading Oathbringer. I think she's gonna wait till I get to Oathbringer and then we're gonna kind of read it together. I'm gonna try to hold off on reading the chapters until I'm done with the reread. So I'm giving myself a week per book. But we'll see how that goes. I will update you guys more when I get deeper into it. If I have any thoughts or I mean, I obviously have thoughts and feelings, but I don't really know what to give you guys in this reading vlog because this is my 14th time reading it. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay. I will see you guys when I come back to this video. Boom. Hello friends, back with another update for this reading vlog. Right now I'm currently editing a video that Casey and I did like a week ago maybe. Also, I don't wear glasses now. These are blue light glasses and I need them when I'm editing and looking at the screen because my eyes have broken recently. So I'm not suddenly wearing glasses. These are blue light glasses to protect my eyeballs, and I think that they've been working. I haven't had them for very long. I've had them for maybe like 3 weeks or so, and I haven't been using them a ton, but I definitely think that they've been helping me adjust without my eyes immediately wanting to burn out of my skull while I'm editing videos and stuff like that, or just being on the computer for a long time. Anyways, we filmed a video, and so I'm editing this video right now. That's what I'm doing. I have my book here with my tabbies in it. I've made some progress. So we will talk about that. I'm going to take these off. We will talk about that progress now. I've got a couple more tabs than I did before. I've got like a whole chunk of blue tabs here. Blue is just like general Cosmere nonsense. So maybe if they're talking about the Cosmere as a whole, the shards, things that have happened outside of Roshar, things like that. So basically that entire section of tabs is literally just Hoyt's letter to Frost, because a lot of it talks about Cosmere stuff and shards and all that nonsense. So I wanted to tab it. I mean, I didn't really need to, but you know, I did it anyway because that's who I am as a person. Right now I'm currently on page 406, so I'm like 100 pages shy of halfway. Slightly less than 100 pages shy of halfway, so I'm getting there very, very slowly. Today is, it's Saturday night. Well, technically it's like 6 in the morning, so it's Sunday morning. We don't have a sleep schedule right now, like at all. So, anyways, I wanted to finish this book by Monday night, and it's now Sunday morning, so it's probably not gonna happen. I'm probably gonna aim to finish it on Tuesday evening. Words are hard, guys. Words are hard. My brain, you guys, it's broken. Now I'm on chapter 28, Decisions. This is an Untitled chapter. Oh, sweet baby. I should state this now before I get too deep into this vlog. I know I pronounce a lot of the names incorrectly, but no, a lot of you are incorrect, okay? The only way I won't be offended by people pronouncing the names in ways that I don't agree with is if you only listen to the audiobooks and then like you pronounce it the way the audiobooks say it. But I will never call Jasna Yasna. Nope. No. No. And I know that the majority of people and also like the audio pronunciations say, or Adolin, I don't remember which ones they say. I say Adolin because that's just the first way when my brain read it with like that hard sound, and I like it better. I don't know why. So, just be warned right now that I'm going to be saying the names very differently. Not all of them. Obviously, some of them are very, like you can't say them any other way, like Dalinar. You can't say it. I say Shaylin. I know most people say Shalon. That one doesn't really bother me as much because it's just like a slight difference, but I think Shaylin sounds prettier, so that's why I say it that way. Yeah. Anyway, so just, you know, brace yourself for my weird pronunciations because you're probably not going to agree with them, but that's okay. That's okay. Also, a fun update. Casey, by the time this vlog goes up, I think you will already have seen this video, so I can show you this in this vlog. Casey did a sneaky. She did such a sneaky. She did not tell me she was reading this book or doing this vlog. And lo and behold, that bitch fucking read Elantris. Most people call it Elantris. You know what? Elantris sounds better. Anyways, she did a secret reading vlog for Elantris. She did not even tell me. She had picked it back up and was reading it. It was a surprise and I was shook. And her vlog is actually really, really fun. Just seeing her go through it and have a little bit of fun with it, even though she wasn't originally vibing with it, because it is fun. It's definitely different from Sanderson's other stuff, but anyways, so yeah, I hope you guys have already seen that video and enjoyed it, because it was great. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll link it down below. Go watch Casey's Elantris reading vlog if you're interested in that. Back to Stormlight. I've already had a lot of emotions. I will, hang on, let me move my computer back. I will show you. I've been doing like colored tabs. I mean, I've been doing highlighting as well. So you can see there's highlighting in there. Different colors mean different things most of the time, but not always. Dolan doing stuff here. I'm excited. Not really like deep into the stuff that gives me a lot of emotion. I did get deeply emotional, the Honor Chasm scene, because I always do. It just, oof, and that moment when he makes that decision to give it one more try, as Syl says, is just so impactful. And then those moments when he's like wrestling with himself, when he knows that he's on the brink and he could just fall backwards into that darkness at any moment, and he's like wrestling with that perception of himself as being the wretch, is very, very relatable to me, in the way that I view my own depression and how I deal with it, and how a lot of the times I am kind of walking that line. Sometimes I'm doing really, really well, but just like a single breath of air could ruin that, you know. And that's, Kaladin just means so much to me, and I relate to Kaladin so much with his depression, his emotional state, his beliefs and ideals, and just the way that he sees the world. It's like 90% of the way, not like 90% to how I am and how I see things and how I feel. And there's a couple of good moments specifically where he delves into thinking about like the wretch and his depression and that darkness, that just really sticks with me. I know one of those moments isn't Words of Radiance, and one of them is an Oathbringer, and I will point them out to you when I get to them because they are very personal to me. So yeah, that's where we're at now. Kaladin is everything to me, and that's why I love Kaladin as a character so much, is because I see so much of myself in him, and it is not something I've ever seen so well depicted within fantasy. Fantasy is my favorite genre. That's what I read the most of, and seeing a character with depression portrayed so accurately to how I feel and how I deal with it and how I see the world is just so nice. And it makes me have a bigger appreciation for understanding how much people need diversity in books and how they need to see themselves, because that's such a small thing. I'm very well represented in the books that I read in many other ways, and so many people aren't. And being able to connect to a character on that emotional level with my mental health has definitely made it much more apparent to me how important it is for people to see themselves in every facet that they can within the stories that they read and that they watch and that they enjoy. And I'm definitely trying to reflect that more in my own writing now that I'm much more personally aware of how important it can be and the difference it can make. So yeah, anyways, we got a little deep there, didn't we? We got a little deep. Okay, anyways, so not much has happened in the book so far. Everybody thinks Dalinar's crazy. He just made the decision to trust Sidious. Again, I know people say his name is Sadius. Sidious is how I say it. He just made the decision to trust Sidious because the visions told him to. Sir, they did not. They did not tell you to. Ugh. And Sidious has just become High Prince of Information. He's looking into the strap. Dalinar just got accosted by Navani. Good times, good times. And Kaladin has just now gotten Bridge 4 under his wings. You know, they've just now all kind of became his. Those scenes when he's working so hard to try to like get them to like talk to each other and join in the conversation and like come eat the stew, and it's just so heartwarming. I love it so much. I love Bridge 4. I love how it wasn't easy for Kaladin to immediately get them all to just accept him as their leader and accept that life was worth living, considering the situations that they were in, that he had to kind of work to push them to see that light again and to feel that hope. Because it wouldn't have been as rewarding if they'd all just been like, okay, I guess this is what it is now. Like, he had to try a little hard to win them all over. Obviously some were easier than others, and some were not. That's my update for now. This is a long update. I will probably update you guys when I get like to the next interludes maybe, or after that. I'm gonna try to read some tonight. It's 6 in the morning. Time has no meaning. Time has no meaning. Anyways, I'm gonna get back to my reading, and I'm gonna work on some of these video edits, and I will give you guys another update in a little while. Okay, thanks, bye. Hello friends, I'm here to wrap up this reading vlog. I have finished my reread of The Way of Kings. I have done a lot of tabbing. I think I counted and there's like 47 tabs in here, which honestly is way less than I expected to have. I felt like I was holding back on tabs because I didn't quite know what I was tabbing for as I was going, you know? And also it's hard to like know the things that I want to tab for when I've read this book 13 times, 14 now. So I have a feeling that it'll end up receiving more tabs whenever I read it for the 15th time, which I will do at some point in the future because I'm crazy. But yes, I finished my reread. I had a lot of thoughts, a lot of feelings, as I always do. I will say that there's not a lot of stuff on this reread that like I picked up on that I've missed before, but since I was actively looking for things that are like foreshadowing and things like that to tab for, there is still so many things that like have been laid out in Way of Kings that have not come to fruition yet. Obviously, it's a 10-book series. So I did tab stuff like that I'm like, well, this still hasn't been a thing yet. It hasn't come out yet. I'm not being eloquent at all right now. I should state that I have not slept pretty much at all. I think I had like an hour of sleep. And I've been awake. I just filmed another video. I just got done filming a video with my boyfriend, also Stormlight related. Stay tuned for that. Hence why I have makeup on now. I don't normally put makeup on for my reading vlogs, but just filmed the video. So, oh, I love this book so much. Obviously, if you guys haven't figured that out by now, this is my favorite book of all time. That still holds true. I will say on the 14th reread, there were moments when like I did not feel like this book was too slow. I know a lot of people talk about how slow The Way of Kings is, and I agree. It's a very slow book. It's all set up for a large world and a large series with a lot of characters. It's a slow book, you know. It's like 800 pages of bridge runs, you know. It's fine, but, and I love that, I love it, but this time on this reread it did not feel slow to me, even though I was reading it slowly because I was tabbing and my brain doesn't work anymore, so I was just reading really slowly regardless. It didn't feel like the plot was moving as slowly as I remember, and I don't know why that is, because it is slow. Like, I know it's slow, but it didn't feel as slow as it normally does to me this time around, and I don't know why that is. But there was an interesting thing that happened. I don't know what else to say. This book means a lot to me. I have a lot of feelings about it. And there were several moments in the book where I literally just like wrote down, haha, I'm crying, because even after reading it 14 times, there are still scenes that literally make me tear up or actually cry. And I would also, I'm just a very sensitive person. It's not even like things are that sad in the story. There's a lot of emotional moments, obviously, but not a lot of people feel as deeply about those moments outwardly, physically, as some do. But I still cry for them each and every time. Like, obviously the honor chasm scene, you know, one more try, gets me every time. I can't handle it. Obviously at the tower, when Syl gets big, and you know, she's explaining to Kaladin that she's an honor sprung, and he's having that moment where he's like, I've been here before, like, how's it gonna turn out any different? But he still does it because it's what's right, and he knows it's what's right and it's what he needs to do, and he just, oh, it's so good. And then like when he's like broken on the ground and Bridge 4 is sitting there and they're like, we still gotta do this, like Kaladin's out of the count right now, and they're still doing it, they're still pushing the bridge, they're still there to fight. And then he's having that flashback with Tien, and I just can't handle it every time. It makes me so emo. The book in this series is so good. Not only is it just like such an interesting world and an interesting story, especially when like you look at like the wider Cosmere and like what's going on there, it's so wildly interesting and so cool and well thought out and like well connected and everything. And I get that's not gonna be everybody's vibe. Not everybody wants like the big spread out story that's interconnected throughout multiple books. Like, that's not your jam, that's fine, but I just am fascinated by the entirety of the Cosmere. And so I mean, like, obviously this book is amazing for those reasons, but really I think the thing that gets me the most about this book and this series is the characters. I mean, like, I did not know what I was getting into the very first time I read The Way of Kings. I didn't read the back of the book. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know a single thing when the first time I read Way of Kings, you know, the chapter before you get to the 8 months later with Kaladin, you're in the point of view of a character named Sen, who has just a new recruit in the army. He's like a 15-year-old kid, and I thought he was the main character of the story because that's kind of where it starts. And I was like, oh, okay, you know, we got a young boy here in the army. This is where the story starts. And I was wrong, obviously. And it's just such an interesting development, the way that the story progresses from that point. I mean, obviously you got your prelude that kind of sets up a very interesting situation that you have no context for, that in my opinion the prelude is fucking, oh, it's so good, it's so good. And it just made me immediately be like, what the fuck is happening? I want to know more. And then you have the prologue with Szeth just fucking wrecking shit and killing this king, and he's like so torn with his emotions about what he's doing, but he's following orders, and it's such an intriguing point of view and plot point. And it obviously throws out a lot of the world building, a lot of the magic stuff in that chapter. Not like a hint, not a lot, but enough to get you going. And then you have that first chapter where you're like, oh, okay, here's this kid in the army. You know, he's scared, he doesn't know what he's doing, and then he's dead 5 pages later, and it's 8 months later, and your real main character, who was like this big hero squad leader, is now a slave. And it's just, the progression this story takes in the very, very beginning is so well done, in my opinion. Like, it consistently, from the very first read to the 14th read, has never stopped making me want to keep reading, to want to know more about what's happening in the book, and to follow these characters on their journeys. And I don't think out of every single, I mean, there's characters in the book that I don't like, obviously, and it's usually the ones you're not supposed to like, but as far as all of your like main point of view characters, I love them all so much. And I don't know that I feel that way with most books that have multiple POVs. There's usually one or two where it's like, I'm bored by them, or I'm not super like attached, or I don't relate to that character as much as another one. And I don't think I have that issue at all within the Stormlight Archive. Like, even the interlude point of views, they draw me in so much more now than they did before, because when the first time I read the book, I was like, it kind of can take you out of the story with the interludes, because I mean, it's literally taking you out of the story to take you to somewhere else in the story that's not necessarily 100% relevant. It's relevant, but it's not, and it's a whole thing. But every time I read them now, it's just, I'm so much more fascinated by getting more glimpses into other parts of the world and what's going on with other cultures and people and places. And there is so much stuff, so much like subtle stuff that is really, really relevant in the interludes, but it's not like a big deal if you don't kind of pick up on those things, because that's not the point of them. But there's so much stuff like layered in them. It's just, I eat it up so much. So I absolutely love the interludes now. And they actually drive the book like faster for me now. When in my first couple of reads of this book, they did slow me down. It's always like a good stopping point. It's like, oh, I'm at the interludes now, I'm gonna take a break, and then I'll come back and read the interludes, and then I'll keep going. But now it's like every time I get to the interludes, I don't want to stop. I want to go ahead and read the interludes and then take my break after the interludes. I want to just get into them, because they're so much more fascinating to me now than they used to be. And I've always loved them, but they're so good now. They're so good. Talk about how much I love this book. So if you're someone else who likes the Stormlight Archive and loves the Way of Kings and cries about how much you relate to Kaladin and his depression, let me know in the comments down below. Let's be friends, please. I don't have nearly enough friends who like the Cosmere, who like Stormlight and Mistborn and these things. Obviously my boyfriend likes the series and stuff. He's read them with me, and me and Casey are best friends, and Casey obviously likes them, and then my other friend Alex also likes them, and we've got a couple of friends who've tried. I think we've got like multiple friends who read the first Mistborn book and then they just stopped. It's like, that's fine, it's not your thing. But I want more friends who like these series and these books, who I can share them with, because it's not just like, oh, this is such a good book, you should read it. It's like, it's so personal to me at this point, my love of them, specifically Stormlight and Mistborn, both of those. The characters I relate to most in all of fiction that I've ever seen is Kaladin and Vin from Mistborn. I see myself so much in them, and it's so rewarding, which is why I stated early on this vlog, like, how I'm much more aware of like how important it is to have diversity in media, because people need to see themselves in media, and it's wild like how much that can mean to a person. And it's like, physically, I see myself in media all the time, like, obviously, and I'm so privileged by that. But being able to find characters that I relate to on such a personal level, with the way that they see the world, and they deal with their depression, and the way that it affects them, and how they treat others around them, and how they treat themselves, and things like that, has just been, it's a lot, but it's so good. The first time I read The Way of Kings, I was at one of my most all-time lows in my entire life, and it found me at the exact right time that I needed it to, because I was the wretch at the same time as Kaladin, and getting to go on that journey with him while I was also trying to kind of climb out of that hole and fight that part of myself and find myself again was life-changing. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking now because I feel like I'm gonna cry. Anyways, I finished my 14th reread, and it was great, and I did a lot of tabs. As I stated earlier in the video, I've tabbed for like foreshadowing, big what the fuck moments, things relating to Odium and the Heralds and the Radiance, and then I had special tabs for Hoyd scenes when he's just like dropping some Hoyd bombs, you know, some Cosmere shit, and then I tabbed for sightings of the Sleepless, the Disian Amiens, which if you don't know about them, that's fine, but I think there's only like, I think 1 or 2 confirmed sightings in Way of Kings, but I think I have 3 tabs for them, so I think I found another one that I think is one that may or may not be confirmed. I'll have to look up word of Brandon's on that to see if they've been confirmed or not. That's all my tabbing. I do feel like when I go back through for another reread, I'll probably end up adding more tabs, because I wasn't tabbing for like personal things that I liked or like had feelings about, any of that stuff. I was just tabbing for like the in-world stuff that I'm trying to kind of connect all together to make my giant Cosmere board. I did mean to have a notebook with me while I was doing this reread and doing these tabs so I could like catalog all of my stuff in like a notebook, and I didn't do that, so that will probably be something I do on my next reread, because I'm running out of time. The Rhythm of War chapters are already coming out. I think right now they've released the Prologue, Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and Chapter 3. And I've just finished Way of Kings, so I've got to start Words of Radiance, which once I finish this, I'm probably going to start the intro to the Words of Radiance vlog. And hopefully this was enjoyable for you guys, because I'm just talking about a book I've read so many times. Like, none of this is new information. You guys have heard me talk about this before, so this is probably really boring, but, you know, I cried. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Yeah, this is my favorite book of all time, and I don't see that changing at any point in the near future, no matter how many amazing books I read, because just the personal connection I have with it and with Kaladin as a character. And yeah, I've read it 14 times now in 6 years. That's pretty mind-blowing. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you're doing your own reread before Rhythm of War comes out, let me know in the comments down below. How far in are you? Are you having a good time with it? Is it your first time reading, or are you rereading? Are you finding new stuff, you know, in your rereads? I mean, like I said, I've read this 14 times now, and there are still things that, like, I catch that I didn't catch before. Not a lot, because by the 14th reread, you've caught a ton of stuff. But there's just, like, little subtle things that, that I've caught that I'm like, oh, I don't know if I noticed that before. If I did, I forgot about it. So it's, you know, the rereads are still worth it in that sense as well. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. And I will see you guys next time with my Words of Radiance reading vlog. If you enjoyed this one, maybe you'll enjoy that one. I'll probably cry some more, because we know what's happening in that book. Yeah. Alright, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and like this video, and everybody be staying safe and happy and healthy and all that jazz. Life before death, Radiance.